I am really thrilled with what God is doing here at the Fremont Baptist Temple this year, and I'm very happy that you are a part of the team. As we put together, the Lord's just really doing a work, and we're rearranging our Sunday school just a little bit, because I believe that through an organized Sunday school, God is going to help us to develop our church, to make it stronger within, and then help to develop our outreach, and help us to grow our church both spiritually and physically through our Sunday school. And you are a very important part of that. Along with that this year, God has given us a theme that you already know about. It's called Magnify the Lord. And we have this new Sunday school curriculum that's being written just as even as we teach it that complements our theme, Magnify the Lord. And we're testing out some new technology. The video here is even a part of that. And this live binders format where you can go online, you can get some resources ahead of time, you can stay ahead of pace with what's going on, you can download your Sunday school curriculum and so forth there. Now, here's a couple things that I want to point out to you in your Sunday school curriculum. First of all, you're going to have a commentary. Now, what is the commentary? The commentary is what I think as I'm going through this lesson. It's how, if I was teaching it, these are the things that I might say. Now, we never write quite the same way that we talk, but these are the thoughts that would be in my mind as I'm trying to teach this Sunday school lesson. And so I would encourage you to read through the commentary. The commentary is going to have more information probably than what you can put into it. I don't want you to read it. Please do not read I do want you to read it, but not in class. Don't just read through the commentary and say, okay, folks, here's what Pastor Click says about it. Now, that takes away the personal touch. I'm just sharing with you how I would share it. Now, as you read through the commentary, you might think of different illustrations that would work for you in that same context. I talk about different things that are personal to me. You might find things personal to you that you can add to it, but you can at least see where I'm going. You can see what I'm looking for. The second thing that you're going to find in the live binders is the teacher's outline. Now, in the teacher's outline, you're going to find that it's color, and the black is the text that everybody sees. It's going to be the same as the third thing in this live binder, which is the student handout. That's there for your reference. Now, you don't have to worry about printing those out. We'll print those out, have those ready for you at the Sunday school teachers meeting on Sunday mornings at 9:30. But we want you to be able to just kind of compare your notes with their notes. But in your notes, you'll see that there are certain words that are red and that are underlined and bold. Those are going to be what are the blanks in the student handout. So that means you have to make sure that you say that you make sure you hit those as you're teaching so that your students can fill in those blanks. And then there's going to be some other blank spaces that you'll find in there, and you'll find some green type in there. And that's just a little teacher's note, basically, to help you and direct you during that. Maybe it's a discussion time, and you'll see a little logo with two guys sitting there talking. And that means this is a discussion point. And so the things that you ought to bring out in there, some questions that you ought to ask. Now, whenever you ask your class some questions, always be ready for silence. Because many times as a teacher, you know you're going to find time when you say, well, what do you all think about this? And people are going to stand around and go, I don't know. Or they'll look for somebody else. And so you need to have something ready to share. Now, first try to provoke it out of them or try to, pull it out of them so that they contribute. We find out that truth that's discovered is better than truth that's revealed from our standpoint. Now, not truth that's revealed from heaven. That's the best truth there is. But it's better if somebody thinks and if we engage their minds in the process. And so that's what the discussion points are. There's going to be at least 2 discussion points for every lesson that you have. And the whole point is to get your class participating. That keeps them awake. That keeps them involved, and that keeps them engaged in what's going on. It keeps their minds working. And so ask questions, but also be ready to have some input. And those yellow, not yellow, but the green type in there is to kind of help you know what to look for and answer to those questions. You may have other things that you'll add to it yourself, but be ready for that. And then, sometimes when somebody gives you an answer, it may not be quite what you're looking for. Always be careful to be sensitive to others when they're answering questions. Sometimes somebody might say something completely off the wall. Don't look at them and say, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's not a good way to build confidence in your class. So always compliment somebody's participation. Now, you don't have to say, oh, you're absolutely right. You might say, who's really good? And they might say, Satan's good. And you say, well, that's an interesting perspective. You might say something like that. But what the Bible says is that there's none good but God. And so you'd follow up and so forth. But be ready to compliment participation and then follow up. They might say something, they might spit something out, and then be ready to just follow up on that. Yeah, that's great. And here's what's really great about that answer that you just gave me. And that's going to help them be more willing to participate in the future. And so you're going to have the basic outline, you're going to have the red words, which means they got to fill that in. The green, they're going to have a blank space in their document where they can take notes about what's being said there. They can take notes about the discussion or whatever else. Then at the very end, there's going to be a thing called family review. And because this curriculum is a universal curriculum for our church, it's being taught all the way down from kindergarten, first grade, all the way up through the seniors. And so what I really want you, especially you adult teachers, to do is to encourage your families that are in your classes to discuss that with their children. If you're teaching the young people, you might tell them, hey, be ready to talk about some things with your mom and dad today because they learned the same lesson. See if they are smart as you. See if they can remember as much as you did. And then have them prepared to discuss those things. Now, as I say that, let me make a little note towards those of you who are teaching the younger grades. Now, your kids won't necessarily need the handouts. Probably teens on up can use the handouts. The younger grades, we're going to have some coloring pages that Karen Emke's working on, doing a wonderful job on that. And she's designing some coloring pages so they can color while you talk. Now, that's going to help keep their hands busy, kind of keep them out of trouble a little bit while you're talking. And kids, sometimes you don't think they're paying attention, and they are. But their hands are busy, they're coloring. So let them color while you teach. That's okay. Make sure you got crayons in your classroom for that. That's going to be necessary for them. And collect those at the end of each day. Do not take stuff from the school. You need to supply your own crayons, which are very cheap and inexpensive. But get some crayons for your class and have them to do their coloring while you're teaching. And then try to review and break it down to their level. Each teacher is responsible to teach this lesson on the level of the class they're teaching. If you're teaching the senior citizens, put it on their level. If you're teaching towards first graders, put it on their level. Some of you say, what's the difference? Sometimes I wonder. But no, you put it on the level for the class you're teaching. That's your job. But make sure, even if you are teaching the younger kids without handouts, make sure you hit the main bullet points. Write them down on the board. Have them write it down, maybe on the back of their on their color sheet. Say, write this down, boys and girls, and on the back of your coloring sheet, so you can remember this when your mom and dad ask you. And just different things like that. But help them, have them repeat certain things. You may not be able to hit everything, but hit the main points. Be energetic and be excited as you teach. As I said before, I'm really thrilled with what God is going to do in this series of lessons on magnifying the Lord. That's our theme this year, and we want to come together as a church this year, 2012, and magnify the Lord together. And you have a part in helping inspire, motivating, and directing our church towards magnifying the Lord this year. Thank you so much for being a part of this team. Everything you do counts. Everything you do matters. God bless you.